He said it like a joke, a smirk, casual, as if the weight of his words didn't matter. 1 week. 1 week to leave the only home I ever knew. My parents didn't flinch. They just sat there, chewing, their silence louder than his threat. That's when I realized they weren't just bystanders, they were complicit. And that's when I set the file on the table. Crisp, cold, final. Actually, you all have 24 hours. The sound of forks hitting porcelain echoed like a gunshot. It hadn't always been like this. My brother and I once shared everything. Late-night whispers in our shared room, promises we'd never turn on each other. Blood was supposed to be unbreakable. But greed does what knives can't. It carves slowly, cleanly, until the cut is too deep to stitch. It started after Dad got sick. My brother hovered around the hospital room, too sweet, too attentive. At first, I thought it was love. Later, I realized it was reconnaissance. He wanted signatures, passwords, trust. And my parents? God, they let him. I noticed the shift when bank statements started disappearing from the mail, when the family lawyers stopped returning my calls, when whispers turned to locked doors and hushed conversations that ceased the moment I entered a room. The betrayal wasn't loud, it was quiet, 1,000 small cuts. Until one afternoon, curiosity turned into certainty. A manila folder on my brother's desk left carelessly half open. Inside, property transfer documents. My name erased, his neatly typed in its place. Our childhood home, the land Dad had sworn would be split fairly, gone, signed over. That was the moment my chest stopped burning. The pain didn't vanish, it sharpened, like glass in my lungs, cutting with every breath. But I didn't lash out, I didn't scream, I planned. Revenge isn't a burst of anger, it's a strategy. I started with patience. Weeks of research at the county clerk's office. Sleepless nights digging through digital records. I learned the loopholes they'd used. The notary my brother had bribed. The debts my parents had hidden behind polished smiles. Then I struck. Quietly. Bought the debts they didn't know were for sale. Acquired liens they thought had been buried. Every dollar they owed, every late payment, every hidden mortgage, I made it mine. By the time they realized, it was too late. The walls were already closing in. I didn't show my hand. I let them believe their game was working. Let them toast to their victory in whispers while I sat across the table, nodding, smiling, waiting. And then tonight came. The dinner was staged. My brother thought he was the predator, delivering his ultimatum like a final blow. 1 week, he said, knife poised over steak, eyes glittering. Mom dabbed her mouth with a napkin. Dad cleared his throat. Not one of them defended me. Their silence was consent. That's when I slid the manila folder across the table. Property records, debt statements, court filings, all signed, sealed, undeniable. Their eyes scanned the pages, confusion hardening into horror. "You don't own this house," I said calmly. "I do. Every square inch of it, every brick, every blade of grass." I watched the color drain from my brother's face. His smirk cracked, piece by piece. "You forged signatures," I continued, my voice steady. "You thought no one would notice. But you overlooked the debts, and I bought them. Every last one. The law doesn't see family, it sees ownership." Mom's hand trembled as she reached for her glass. Dad stared at the papers as if staring hard enough could change the ink. "You have 24 hours to leave," I said. Silence. The kind that crushes the air out of a room. My brother tried to laugh, but it died in his throat. He stammered, reaching for excuses. It was for the family." I didn't let him finish. "For the family?" I leaned in, my voice barely above a whisper. "You tried to erase me. You all did. That's not family. That's theft." The silence that followed was different this time. Not shock, not confusion, fear. I let it hang there, let them feel the weight of everything they'd lost. When I left the table, I didn't look back. The house was mine now, but more importantly, their illusion of control was gone. I didn't do it for the walls or the land. I did it for the quiet justice of watching betrayal collapse in on itself. I had been their afterthought, their scapegoat, the expendable one. Now, I was the one with the keys. By morning, they would be gone. Their rooms empty, their voices silenced, their schemes dismantled. And me? I'd finally breathe without glass in my lungs. Because revenge isn't fire. It isn't chaos. It's control. And control is mine.